excited. Women making waves. Yes. Women, give yourselves a hand. Men, give yourselves a hand.
Clap for the man.
By a special request by Representative Carol Ammons, she wanted me to sing Superwoman by Alicia Keys.
Yes.
And we have a whole bunch of super women in the house.
Yes.
Super women in the house. Super women in the house. And I dedicate this to you. And then do me a favor. I don't know if you have a pen and paper with you. So I want you to write this down. Women, I am a superwoman.
I am a superwoman.
I am a superwoman.
A
So
superwoman.
you're going to participate in this song with me, okay? I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes,
I
I am.
am a superwoman.
I am a superwoman.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I
Okay?
am.
And then I'll give you your cue. When I do this, then you know you're going to say something, okay?
All right.
All right. Everywhere I'm turning, nothing seems complete. I stand up and I'm searching for the better part of me. I hang my head in sorrow, the state of humanity. I wear it on my shoulders, 'cause I have to find the strength in me. 'Cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on my vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. You have it now?
Yeah.
I am a superwoman.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yes,
I am. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. For all the mothers trying for a better day to come, and all my women here trying to come home before the sun, and all my sisters coming together saying yes I can, yes I will, 'cause I am a superwoman. Come on.
Come on.
Yes, I
am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I
am. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on my vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. And when I'm breaking down and I can't be found, I start to get weak, 'cause no one knows me underneath these clothes, but I can fly, we can fly.
Come on.
'Cause I am a superwoman.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Come on. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh yes, I'm a superwoman. One more time. I am a superwoman.
I am a superwoman.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Even when I'm a mess, I still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh, yes, I'm a superwoman. Give your hand. You can give yourself a hand. Beautiful. I wanted to sing that, but I can't sing as good as Dr. Phoebe Lanier. Give it up for Dr. Phoebe Lanier. Because we do have some super women in our community. Each year, I want to make sure that I acknowledge the hard work and service of women in this community. This is our 4th year doing Women Making Waves. And sometimes I'm not sure if people recognize how difficult it is for young women and young girls to find their way in this society. And on top of that, add the issue of female and African American on top of that. It's a little bit of a difficult struggle sometimes. And the reason why we stop and we pay attention to the work of great women is because there's nothing done that is really done unless the women do it. Can I get an amen? Yes. Now we are the organizers and the leaders and the teachers of the children, and if we want them to be great, that means that we have to be great. And so as the song says, even if you are a mess, I still put on my vest with an S on my chest. Because I know I'm a superwoman no matter what. I work hard, I train hard, and I make sure that my family knows that I am dedicated to their success. So this year I get to acknowledge a real superwoman. A woman who has been serving longer than I think I have been on the planet. Amen? The Reverend Dr. Evelyn Underwood. Please give it up for her. It is unusual that I would read an entire bio for someone, but I do believe that this community needs to know the gem that is among you. And so I am going to indulge you for your patience so that I can read her entire bio. I want you to know how much she has done for each of us over the years. Reverend Dr. Evelyn Burnett Underwood has contributed to the improvement of Champaign-Urbana metropolitan area for 5 decades as a wife, mother, educator, board member, community activist, clergywoman, broadcaster, attorney. Did I say attorney? Board member for the school district, and just a concerned citizen. Dr. Burnett Underwood became active in her community while rearing 5 children, so don't tell me you can't do it. While rearing 5 children with her first husband of 14 years, James Burnett. In 1964, Evelyn Burnett joined the Community Services and Concerned Citizens Committee of Champaign-Urbana, where during her 16 years commitment, she developed proposals to meet the needs of disadvantaged youth, counseled local high school students in the area of academics, vocational, and life skills, and assisted in administering community school projects. For 7 years, Dr. Underwood served as an appointed member of the Community Reinvestment Act Advisory Committee for Busey Bank in Urbana. She assisted the bank officials in developing strategies to promote programs that improve the bank's lending practices to minority and disadvantaged persons in Champaign County. That is an important thing because many members of our community at this time could not get a loan from a bank to even buy a home. And Dr. Underwood opened that door too. Dr. Burnett Underwood continued her contributions to her community as a young professional with the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. For 25 years as assistant to the Director of African American Studies, another landmark for us in this community.
She was on the African American Studies Commission and the director of the Educational Opportunities Program, which helped to bring in Project 500. You see the connections here? She participated in policy analysis and formulation, provided background information and advice necessary for formulation and implementation of policies, and counseled minority students and disadvantaged students regarding admissions, housing, and financial aid. During her tenure, she played a critical role in recruiting African American students to the University of Illinois, and we have at least one Project 500 student in this room that benefited from Dr. Underwood. If you would stand in this room, if there's another, I miss you, please stand, Ms. Vazelia Clark, who works for the city of Urbana and was a Project 500 student here at the University of Illinois. Dr. Burnett Underwood began her public life as a member of the Urbana School Board. During her 12 years commitment, she served 12 years on the school board. She provided accountability to the chief administrative officers and other key administrators. She established and maintained effective relationships with the business leaders and government organizations, and used the budget process to help shepherd the school district during periods of major economic crises and stress. And she articulated policy decisions to parents and citizens of the district. But she hasn't stopped. She hasn't stopped there. Today, she still attends the city of Urbana's every single Monday city council meeting. She is advocating for people in Dr. Ellis subdivision every single Monday. And for young people in this room, Dr. Evelyn Burnett Underwood has done her service. It is time for you to pick up that mantle and begin to advocate for the people in your community as she has done for all of us. For the past 28 years, Dr. Underwood has been an educator, serving as a substitute teacher, which she has now my son at Urbana High School, in Champaign-Urbana school districts, in addition to serving as a guidance counselor for the middle school. She has done so much for this community. I can't imagine why we would not take this moment to stand to our feet and honor the Reverend Dr. Evelyn Burnett Underwood. Aaron, if you would escort Dr. Underwood up, and Nina, if you would join us, that would be amazing. I was always taught that you keep your clap going until your honoree gets to the stage. We keep our clap going until our honoree gets to the stage. We appreciate what Dr. Evelyn Underwood has done for us, for this community, and she paved the way for there to be a state rep, Carol Evans, in Champaign-Urbana. Thank you, Dr. Evelyn Burnett Underwood. I'll say this here. Every year we make a distinguished award with an African woman on this plaque. And it is 2018 Distinguished Woman Making Waves, Reverend Dr. Evelyn Underwood. Thank you so, so much for all that you have done for us. Oh. Patricia, if you would come closer and take our picture together. You're a diva, honey. You're a diva. We'll stand this way.
She's trying to come right in here? Okay. Come on up.
Better. Thank you.
Aaron knows we certainly honor Dr. Underwood for all that she's done for us. Let us not forget, in the African tradition, we always honor our elders. We always honor our elders and thank them for their service. Before I bring up our next speaker, I want to acknowledge my family who is here with me. My husband and I, first of all, I do have an amazing husband. I'm just saying. Aaron is just truly an amazing partner to work with. He is the steel that sharpens me, that really makes me what I hope to be. And he's really dedicated so much of himself into my service. And so over the last 7 or 8 months, it's been my pleasure to dedicate myself into his service. And so I am honored to have my husband here with me this morning, and I thank him. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for the sacrifice that you are making to run for Champaign County Clerk, and that is not an easy thing to do. My beautiful mother, Ms. Valerie Emmons, if you would stand, and the whole family, why don't you all stand for me? Since they're so close to me, I can see them. Valerie Emmons here in beautiful green. She looks lovely from my daughter, Tatiana. That's Aaron's mother and my mother, Valerie Emmons. Next to her is Tanya. Aaron got a lot of sisters, y'all. Tanya, raise your hand, Tanya. She works at the University of Illinois as well. And Deanna Emmons, who works at the University of Illinois as well. And sitting over there, who they didn't stand, but we adopted them too, is Val. Val made all of these cookies for Aaron with both Aaron and pictures of Aaron on the cookies, okay? And Gina Muhammad, who traveled all the way from Chicago to be here with us this morning. My niece is sitting, she's not gonna stand. And my sister, Steflana Davis, who traveled from Joliet to be here with us this morning. Thank you all for supporting us and supporting what we are attempting to do for our community. Who did I miss? I brought them up first. But Sugar Mama's here. Y'all saw Sugar Mama in her little skirt. She is cute. That's my granddaughter. She's back there yelling. Tatiana and Deontay are back there as well, and Amir. I gotta get a drink of water. Technical break. Now, we have had some wonderful speakers at the podium for Women Making Waves. And one of them, I have been pleased to follow her service career in the great state of Ohio for a number of years. And all of us got to see her fierceness as she worked with Senator Bernie Sanders during the presidential campaign. And I said, wow, I need to meet her. So I was blessed by an invitation from a women's group in Chicago that invited me up to Chicago State University to sit on a panel with this great woman. And as soon as I heard it, I cleared the schedule. I was like, I'm going to Chicago. Because I got to get her for us for Women Making Waves. So I did have a reason why I had to make it there beyond the panel. But by doing so, I just realized that we are soul sisters in the real sense of the word. And I hope by the end of her presentation, you also will realize that we have a lot in common. I'm going to introduce you to Senator Nina Turner. She's committed to advocating for progressive ideas and values, a vocation she views as bigger than political affiliation. Most recently, a national surrogate for Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont during the turbulent 2016 Democratic presidential primaries. Nina Turner is an insightful advocate, an agent for social change. Today, she serves as the president of Our Revolution, an organization that Sanders created to revitalize American democracy, and we do need some revitalization. Empower the progressive leaders and elevate political consciousness. When she served in the Ohio Senate, Turner was known as a fierce advocate, garnering recognition and praise from elected leaders across the political spectrum. She maintained an uncanny ability to both unify opposing views and challenge political leaders to live up to their highest selves. Her political experience as an elected member of the Cleveland City Council and a strategic leader of the Ohio Democratic Party afford her a unique understanding of government processes and how to overcome partisan perspectives. Outside of the political arena, Turner has dedicated decades of experience as a college professor and motivational speaker. She routinely travels across the country to inspire action and instill hope in crowds of more than 20,000 people. And I should say here that she took a special flight off of the tour with Bernie Sanders to come to little Champaign-Urbana. We are honored to have her in our community. She's a champion for progressive causes such as labor, women's reproductive health, voting rights, and eradicating wealth and income inequality. Turner forms deep connections with people from all walks of life. It's for these reasons, and many more, that she was tapped to serve as the Democratic nominee for the Ohio Secretary of State race in 2014. Turner is recognized as a voice of truth, even when speaking the unpopular truth. The Nation magazine named her most valuable state senator, and in 2014, The Root, listed her as one of the top 100 most influential African Americans in the U.S. Cleveland's Inside Business magazine. They recognized her in 2015 as well as one of top 25 most powerful people in Northeast Ohio. 2017 Politico named her their political playbook power list of 18 to watch in 2018. In addition to her leadership at Our Revolution, Turner also serves as the founding fellow of the Sanders Institute, a group of leaders dedicated to transforming American democracy through the research, education, outreach, and advancement of bold progressive ideas and values. She has appeared on numerous national television and radio shows such as Meet the Press, the Bill Maher Show, Comedy Central, The President's Show, Democracy Now!, The Ricky Smiley Morning Show, The Breakfast Club, and so many more. MSNBC is where I kept following her at. The Tom Hartman Show as well. Turner is also a political commentary on CNN, appearing frequently on the State of the Union with Jack Tapper and CNN Tonight with Don Lemon. It is my deepest honor to welcome to this microphone, to the great city of Urbana, and to this laborers hall that has been supporting me for a number of years, Senator Nina Turner. Wow. Champaign-Urbana. And I gotta thank my sister, Carol. We are sisters in every sense of the word. You know, sometimes people just banty that about Dr. Underwood. But I mean that in all sincerity, that she and I both have the fire in the belly and the ovaries to make it known. Amen. So it is a pleasure. As my sister said, I was traveling with Senator Sanders, who was touching about 10 states or 9 states in 10 days. And when he called me up and said, I need you to go on this tour with me, and I'm looking at my schedule, and I'm saying, oh Lord, but on a certain day in October, I must be in Urbana.
That's right.
And I did, as my sister said, depart from him and not go into California to make my way back from Reno, Nevada, to be here with all of you. And there's only a few people I can think of that I would do something like that for. And Representative Carol Emmons is one of those people that I did that for. Dr. Underwood, he or she who is greatest among you shall be the servant. I want to thank you for your service. You know, my sister Carol talked about you a lot last night. She talked about the fact that so often in American society, we do not uplift our elders. From the Afrocentric perspective, and not the European worldview, but the Afrocentric worldview,
it is instilled in us culturally
Yes.
and all other cultures across this world to lift and respect and admire and serve our elders.
Yes, 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 yes.
Reverend Dr. Underwood, I am so pleased that my sister paused for a moment to uplift you and all the great work that you have done to bring some other folks with you. And people may never realize all the lives that you have touched. You could have done anything with those fancy degrees, but you decided to be a servant, and
Yes,
therefore
yes.
you are the greatest among us, and we
Amen.
love you. I do want to give a shout out to all of the Our Revolution endorsed candidates in this room
Come on.
this morning. And it's a woman's thing, but I'm going to pause and give Brother Aaron a shout out in particular. He's running for an office that is vitally important to the revitalization and the upkeep of what we call democracy,
All right now.
which is unfettered access to the ballot box.
Yes.
And so I want to thank you, brother, for putting it all on the line for the ballot box. And I'm hoping that all the other candidates in the room, whether you were endorsed by Our Revolution or not, that you have a spirit of service. And not one just to hold an office and to have a fancy title.
Yes,
You
yes.
see, titles are very good. They get your phone calls returned. They get you in the room. They're
All
good.
right. Yep.
But I declare that purpose is better. We need more
Amen.
purpose-driven people.
Yes, yes,
So the rainbow mosaic of humanity is assembled here today,
yes.
Sister Carol. But we are here to talk about the wave of women, the pink wave, as my sister has declared, of women. Not just in the United States of America, but I would say the wave is waving all over the world, because
Yes, yes.
when women move, we shake the world. Fierce women
Yes,
shake
yes,
the world.
yes, yes,
We are shaking the world.
Yes.
And I draw my inspiration this morning from three women in particular. One is my grandmother. I will close with her. The other is Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm.
All right now.
And the other is Mother Jones.
Yes, yes.
Now, Mother Jones was just an ordinary woman.
Yes.
And in the 1800s, she watched as big corporations, similar to today,
Come on.
was taking advantage of coal miners. She watched as this industry had a disrespect and disregard for children. See, there were no child labor laws.
Come on now.
And Mother Jones stood up. And she galvanized miners and other workaday people across this country to stand up for their rights against big industry. At that moment, she was fighting against the coal industry.
Yes.
And she has said many things, but this has stuck with me when she said that she would pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living.
Come on
See,
now.
that's how I roll. I'm hoping that's how women who want to make waves roll.
Right.
She could have said, you know, I don't have a fancy title. And I'm not qualified in any way that is recognized by the upper echelons of this society.
Come on
But
now.
she declared and she worked in her mission-driven call, I believe, by the creator of this universe, and she stood up and helped to galvanize a people to fight for their rights. And she stood up for child labor to make sure that our children, many of them were stunted in their growth.
Yes.
We don't think about that, losing limbs. And don't even let me go way back to what happened to my ancestors in this country. But there are people who stood up.
Yes.
And that is why we are able to be assembled in this hall today, being the rainbow mosaic of humanity, because somebody put a little extra on their ordinary so that extraordinary things can happen.
Yes,
And here
yes,
we are.
Yes, yes, yes.
So my sister, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, she said these words. She said, in the end, anti-black, anti-female, and all forms of discrimination are equivalent to the same thing, anti-humanism. we find ourselves in that moment.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
bring you one other word from her when she said that tremendous amounts of talent are lost to our society because that talent wears a skirt.
Huh? Say that again. You missed it.
She was way ahead of her time. But thank God, Reverend Underwood, that she was willing to put something on the line. And that she dared and had the audacity in 1972 when folks told her she was too much of a woman, she was too black to be able to run for the president of the United States of America. But in her speech, when she declared her candidacy, she said, my very presence here today is a declaration of the change that is happening in this country.
Dang.
I would argue the same thing is happening
Come on.
in 2018.
Yes.
That women are making waves, we are on the move in our very presence. But we women, no matter what background we come from, what walk of life we come from, we all have stories to tell. We all have people who came before us who probably did some extraordinary things that are not often written about. But the thing that connects us, that should connect us, is our humanity.
Yes, yes.
And we spend too much time in the age of the man in the White House pontificating and worrying about what political affiliation we are a part of, instead of standing up and saying, no matter if I'm Republican or Democrat, none of that matters because I am a part of the party of the RT, and that is the right thing. At all times, that is how we should be rolling.
Yes, yes.
I say this morning that if I needed a blood transfusion, Sister Carol, I wouldn't pause to ask whether that person was a Republican
that's right.
or a Democrat.
Amen.
If I was stranded on the side of the road and a car pulled up, I wouldn't ask the person trying to help me whether they were a Republican or a Democrat.
Right,
Now,
right.
I do understand in the political season, we must try to make delineations between what one party stands for and the other party stands for. But when you get down to it, it really is about your humanity.
Yes.
When it comes down to it, it really is about what you are going to do in service of the people once you get the people's power. When it gets down to it,
Yes, yes, yes.
it really is about what you are willing to put on the line for somebody else. That is what this is about.
Yes.
And so we have forgotten that, and we have lost our way, and in some cases lost our ever-loving minds, because there is a man in the White House filled with such bigotry and hate
Yes.
that we have ceded all of our power. He controls our minds and our every move. You can't turn on a network and nobody's talking about the brother. He thrives on that. He thrives on that. And while we are in a tangle, in a maelstrom of confusion over what he is doing, I declare that there is no power greater on this earth than committed people on the move. Not even him. There is no power greater. And for those who are believers, there is no man or woman that walks the face of the earth that is greater. You see, this is about people power. So women, almost everywhere that we go, we make a difference. And I say almost.
Come on now.
Because you might be my color or my gender, but you might not necessarily be my kind.
All right now. Come on now. Come on.
I'm just saying. See, I ain't one of those that say you just got to vote for somebody because they are a woman. Or vote for somebody because they're African American or whatever ethnic group they may come from. Scripture says that you will know the tree
Ha
by the fruit that it bears. I'm looking for people that bear good fruit.
Right, right.
Those are the kind of people I support. And so Sister Carol's gotten me into all kinds of trouble. Good trouble. But I wasn't born a Democrat, I was born a black woman in America. And I stand up for my people everywhere that I go. And my people in the sense of not just an ethnic connection, but the underserved in this society, whether they are black, brown, white, yellow, or red, wherever the underdog is, wherever the underserved is, that is where I will be.
Yes.
I am here because they are here.
Yes.
And I'll stand up to any political party over that.
Yes.
And my last woman I bring words. In the African American community, what she had is called mother wit. She didn't have any fancy degrees, but she had mother wit. My grandmother used to caution me all the time about educated fools. All the time. You know, degree don't make you help me somebody.
All right now.
It might look good on that paper, but I know a whole bunch of folks who got fancy initials behind their names, but they are educated fools.
Come on now.
Well, ladies, we gonna make some waves. Before I end with grandma, because I got to go back to Sister Carol, you know, this really is about women making waves and women running for office. And since I'm not on my notes, I do want to say to my Sister Carol, the fact that she's been doing this for 4 years, bringing women together, and whenever there's women, there will be men.
Amen.
Bringing women and men together. But primarily, this event is to continue to encourage women to run for office.
Yes, yes.
We are underrepresented
Yes.
almost everywhere in the political spectrum, but particularly on the state and federal levels of office.
Yes.
We must change that. And sisters, can I just say something to you only? Sometimes we hold women to a higher standard
Come on now.
than we hold the brothers, and I mean brothers in a universal sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we're more critical of each other
Yes, yes.
than we are the men.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying today is that because of vision and leadership, we come together. You've been coming together for the last 4 years to unify and to support and uplift women who have dared to get into that arena.
Yes, yes.
And for Sister Carol to have that kind of vision, to say to the sisters, run, and after all you've done, run, and then when you can't run no more, keep running anyhow.
Right, right.
That is what this is about. So for those of you who are running for office and you are in the right mind of service, run.
Yes.
For those of you who may have thought about running and you have to look at your resume or look at some things in your background,
Come on now. Teach on.
don't worry about that.
Yes.
Because he or she, without sin, let them cast the first stone. We ain't looking for perfect people to run for office. We're looking for servants to run for office.
yeah.
And see, I don't trust nobody who ain't been through nothing.
All right now, honey. Come on.
You ain't got no testimony. You can't understand the people that you serve. Ain't nobody perfect.
Right.
So when your enemy rise up against you,
Teach on.
talking smack. You know, I was with Brother Aaron and Sister Carol last night, and you know, they shared with me that somebody put out a commercial, an ad, and I know this is for you sisters, but I got to pause and say this because I was so upset I couldn't finish my food, even though I'd eaten almost over half of it. I couldn't finish the rest. When Brother Aaron told me that somebody put out a radio commercial and said basically the following, I'm paraphrasing, you know, lifting up the person who he's running against and basically saying, what has he done other than wash toilets and mop floors? We all should be offended by
Yes,
that. I was
yes.
highly offended by that on many, many levels. Can I just pause for 2 minutes to break it down? There was a point in time in this country's history where my ancestors, that's all they could do. Wash toilets and mop floors.
Teach on it.
Not because they were not qualified to be doctors and lawyers, but because systemic racism put them in just domestic categories.
Come on now. Come on.
Many of people went to college because somebody washed the
Teach on
toilet
it.
and mopped the floor. See, they thought they was hating on you.
Come on now.
They was lifting you. How dare they? And then there are people right now, when we go through the airport, and you go in the restroom and you see that lady or that man with that cart, you know what they doing? Washing toilets and mopping floors so we can have clean restrooms.
Teach
if
on
you
that.
ever stayed in a hotel, what are they doing in hospitals and buildings like this? Somebody gotta wash the toilet
Yes.
and somebody gotta mop the floor.
Yes.
How dare they? And then there was a racial element to that is not lost on anybody. I don't care who the hell the candidates Or when you go too low, you can go too low, and that is exactly what they did to this brother. And I've seen this kind of stuff happening all over this country. My sister Javanka Beckles, who's running in District 15 in the Bay Area of California, her opponent's supporters is likening her to a monkey. Because she's a dark-skinned sister. Where's the outrage? And I'm talking about another Democrat, because in California, it's ranked choice. 2 Democrats can make it to the primary. So I don't want nobody to tell me about how the Democratic Party is so much better when we don't stand up and speak out against that kind of foolishness. Oh no, I'm mad. And Brother Andrew Gillum in Florida,
Come on now.
his Republican opponent, talking about don't vote for him because he gonna monkey things up. Newsflash, America, don't make any comments regarding African Americans using monkeys.
Right.
You don't know that. So wash toilets and mop it floors. Races and classes in every stretch of the imagination, and Urbana champagne. You need to knock on one more door, make one more phone call, and make sure that man
Teach,
never makes it
teach,
to that
teach,
second.
teach,
That this brother right here. Sister Carol, I didn't mean to go there.
Yeah, well, do your thing.
I just need 5 more minutes.
Take
I
your
gotta
time.
do a
Take your
panel.
time. Take your time.
I'm just saying, sometimes we take this political affiliation way too far.
Yes, yes.
I'm with Brother Malcolm X when he said, I'm for what is right, no matter who it's against or who it's for.
All right now.
That's how we got to stand. No matter who it's against or who it's for. The overwhelming influence of money. People just flat out buying elections. Hello,
Yes,
Illinois.
yes, yes.
Don't get me started, because in the primary I supported somebody else in this state
Yes, yes.
for governor and lieutenant governor. Sister Leticia
Wallace.
Wallace was on that ticket. Where were we? Where were we? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, your nominee purchased. Hello.
All
I'm
right
trying
now.
to get Sister Carol in no trouble. this
Right
morning.
now.
I'm just saying. Whenever you can buy a primary,
Come on now.
we do need to get big money out of politics.
Yes, we do. Yes,
No
we
matter
do.
whether you're Republican or Democrat, I just don't like them being able to buy the primary. Because I do want somebody who washes toilets and mops floors to be able to compete.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody that's a teacher, a carpenter, a doctor, a lawyer.
Yes.
I want them to be able to compete. So we must deal with the not just reliance, but people are buying, these big corporations and they buying candidates all across this country from both sides of the aisle. Let's not get this twisted.
Yes.
Some people have donors that they got to check in with before they pass a bill, before they support a policy.
Come on now.
And it's time out for that. Those of us who believe in the power of this democracy to help the everyday woman and man and child in this country, we must stand up
Yes.
for what is right, no matter who it's for or who it's against. But I digress. Let me go back to Grandma. I just had to get some stuff off my chest. I am a hell-raising humanitarian. And if anybody asks you, is she mad? Yes, I am angry. I come from the angry black woman tribe. Yes, I do. You make an application. Because if you ain't mad about something, you ain't got a pulse in 2018.
I know that's right.
No, we mad. We angry. I wear it, baby. Okay, 5 more minutes. Let me get back to Grandma. So, my grandmother, again, Reverend, she hailed from the South. She couldn't read or write. She only had a 3rd grade education. But my grandmother was one of the smartest women I have ever known. To the women in this room, no matter what your walk of life is, this message is for you.
Yes.
My grandmother, when I would ask her all the time, what does it take to be successful in life? She said, my dear granddaughter, all you need are the 3 bones, the wishbone, the jawbone, and the backbone. She said the wishbone will keep you hoping and praying, because hope Hope, hope, hope. Hope is the motivator, but the dream is the driver.
Yes.
The reason why we do what we do each and every day is because we do hope and believe that tomorrow will be better than today. But sisters and brothers, hope motivates us. Well, we got to put some sweat equity on that.
Yes, yes, yes,
You
yes.
see, faith without works is dead.
Come on, teach, Queen.
She said, the jawbone will give you courage to lift your voice, to speak truth, to power. What good is it, sisters and brothers? Those of you sisters and brothers who are in fancy rooms, what good is it if you are in that room and you forgot why you are there?
Yes, yes,
Use your jawbone.
yes.
You ain't got the strength for nobody. And there's a way to talk about issues strongly and passionately without tearing the other person down.
Yes.
But we following your commitment and your service to the downtrodden in this society, whether you are in the union hall or whether you are in the Congress,
Yes,
whether you are in the state house or the city council.
yes.
If you have a position of authority where people have elected you to serve them, then serve them.
That's right.
If you are in those rooms. Care more about the next generation than you do about the next election. To my millennials, hashtag all the way woke. We woke. We woke. We need some woke folks. Hashtag yes we do. But my grandmother said the most important bone of them all, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, is the backbone.
Yes,
Because the backbone will keep you standing through all of your trials and your tribulations.
yes, yes.
And in this life, sisters and brothers, you're going to go through some stuff, but you can't have a testimony without a test.
Yes,
We are being
yes,
tested to determine whether or not we got courage enough and conviction enough and care enough to do what is right, even if we may be standing alone. And after we have done all the stand, we must keep on standing. Because guess what, sisters in particular, but brothers on the side, our mission is so high,
yes.
we can't get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission is so low, we can't get under it. And our mission is so wide, we can't get around it.
Yes,
Mission, purpose-driven people is what is needed today. Don't worry about the brother in the White House. He's doing his thing.
mm-hmm.
We need to do our thing.
Right.
And part of that is electing trailblazing progressive candidates
Yes.
in 2018, building to 2019, building to 2020. That's what this is about. Hey. President Nelson Mandela once said, it always seems impossible until it is done.
Yes.
Always seems impossible until it is done. Let's do this thing. Ladies, run if you want to run. But no matter whether you running for office or run in your house or run in the community, just know that this world is a better place because of the female energy that permeates. I'm talking about some metaphysical kind of stuff right here.
Yes.
Be firm in your commitment to service and who you are. And sisters, we ain't got to support somebody just because they are a woman, but my God, if they are on the move for good, they are standing up for righteousness.
Yes.
If they understand that their very presence here means transcendence, then those are the kinds of sisters and brothers, dare I say, that we want to support. Because there's another movement in the society right now that is not only trying to divide us based on our race, our class, our gender, our religion, no religion, just flat out trying to divide people. You can't add by subtracting.
That's right.
Come on now.
So we're going to take grandma's wishbone, her jawbone, and her backbone, and baby, we're going to let it slip. And we're going to do the damn thing. God bless you.
I think y'all can tell while I was stalking her all over the city of Chicago. Y'all know why I did that, right? What an honor to hear the words of inspiration from Senator Nina Turner, our sister in the house. And we all get to participate in the next part of this program. On your table, I hope that you have some cards on that table. I am going to kick off an interview. I love to do those kind of things. For the young women, we got to pay attention to how she made it where she is, because you can too. So if you have a card on your table, and hopefully you have a pen, if you have a question that you want to pose to Senator Turner, I'm going to have my interns, which I don't know where they are, but they know where I am. If you raise your hand with your card, they will gather them and bring them up, and I will ask her those questions. I want the staff to keep me on time, please, even though we're on time. I'm going to kick it off. Okay, somebody explain the microphone situation here. There's a little microphone here. What am I doing? Because I'm going to pull this cord up out of here.
She wants you to lead it there. It's Carletta's.
Oh, okay, that's Carletta. I got you, Carletta. So I'm just going to slightly move this here, and we'll sit closer. It's all right. They'll get them. Did you all enjoy that? This amazing woman has been traveling all over the country, talking to communities, and you know what? When I asked her to come, she didn't say, well, that'll be $10,000, thank you. She didn't say that. She said, let me check my schedule, and if it's open, I'm coming. And she is here this morning. She is working hard with Our Revolution to provide a platform for people just like me, to be a progressive and be able to run for office without worrying about the big dollar donors who won't support a person like me.
Yes, yes.
And so it is my pleasure to sit here with her and delve a little bit into Nina. Sometimes people don't see us as people and assume that we don't have regular life going on at the same time while we're trying to serve. And so I want us to have a moment of intimacy with Sister Nina Turner, because it means so much to me to learn from her, and to these young women to be able to hear from her of how she trekked her way to the Senate and now as a national leader in the United States of America. I am so honored to have you this morning.
It's great to be with you.
Who are you? We know what the TV done said, right? We read the articles and we saw you on MSNBC, but who's Nina?
I'm a child of God first and foremost.
Amen.
And I'm just a sister on this journey. God has blessed me immensely. How I got over my soul looks back and wonders how I got over has been by the grace of an almighty God. I certainly have come up the rough side of the mountains. You know, some people are born into smooth surfaces. Some got a little rocks along the way. Others have to surmount hills. And then there are those of us who are mountain jumpers. And I am a mountain jumper. You know, being the oldest of 7 children, I'm married, I'm a mama. My favorite title of all is being a mother to my wonderful son, who I love very much. My husband and I have been married for 30 years.
Wow.
So I'm an educator. You know, I'm just a hell-raising humanitarian. I'm just an everyday person trying to use my gifts and abilities to make this world a better place.
That is the story of so many of us. You know, my sister and I grew up with a mother who did clean hotel rooms,
Yes.
hospital bedrooms,
Come on.
so that we would even have an opportunity. She took care of 3 children by herself.
Yes, yes.
And it was difficult for her, but she worked multiple jobs so that we would have a stable place to live.
That's right.
And many people see us in our service and just assume that we had it easy in some way,
Yeah.
because maybe it looks easy,
No.
but by no means was it. Your husband of 30 years, how does he handle this travel schedule that's unbelievable? Plus you're serving in so many other capacities as an executive director of Our Revolution, and you're on the road traveling so frequently.
How does he manage all of that?
You know, it's our bond. I mean, we travel together when we can, but it's our bond. I was just talking to him, as you know, in the back room. He was checking on his boo, making sure everything's all right. Because he will come, okay? He will hop in a car in a minute and come see about his sister. But, you know, we have a bond. I mean, he lifts me. And to hear what you had to say about your husband, Aaron, just reminded me of me and my husband, because he has always been committed to my service. And he just believes that I'm the best thing, you know, as he should. Just the best thing. You know, but no, we talk a lot, we pray, we meditate, but we stay in constant communication. I make sure that I text or I send a cute little cartoon or something to let him know that even though I'm on the road, that I am thinking about him. And it really is that family bond that I have with my husband and my son. You know, I would not be able to do these great things. As you know, you can't do it without family. It definitely takes teamwork to make the dream work.
Yes.
And it's both your internal family, but also your external family, people who are adopted along the way, who believe in you and believe in your service. But he is very, very proud of me.
You know, I have in this room so many people that I respect and who have been here with me for a very long time. And some of them, like Danielle Chenoweth, who's here, our Township Supervisor, Danielle Chenoweth.
Where is she?
Stand up, Danielle. She said, where is she? Stand on up. Stand on up. She's serving and rolling up her sleeves for the most vulnerable in our community in Cunningham Township.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we're friends.
Yes.
And she would pick up my children while I'm running around trying to do campaign stuff. She will feed them.
Beautiful.
I'm ill, she comes take care of me.
Yeah.
She is what a friend truly is.
Yes.
Who's that for you?
Oh my God.
Who is your friend?
Oh, you know, I got lots of acquaintances, but not a whole lot of friends. You know, two come to mind for me. One, her name is Sherlyn Allen Harris. We went to graduate school together. And she reminds me all the time that I told her one day I was going to run for office and that she was going to be my treasurer. She probably regrets it to this day, but when I started off on the Cleveland City Council, she was my treasurer. We've been together ever since. And then my sister girlfriend, Tara Mosley Samples, who is a councilwoman in Akron, that is my ride or die right there. I mean, she has been with me. She's always with me. She fights on Twitter for me. I tell her to stop doing that, Sister Carol. And she in elected office right now. You know, I told her to hold it down. You know, she'll fight you. She's a feisty little thing. But you know, it's good to have good sister girlfriends like that, because it helps you along the journey when you are in moments that feel overwhelming to you.
Yes.
You know, even though I know I'm on a mission, other people might not see it that way.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been called everything but a child of God. And to this moment, I'm still called everything but a child of God, and not in a partisan way, not at the hands of Republicans. Because when I fight the Republicans over policy, I know what I'm fighting. When you got to fight Democrats, that's a whole different thing. So I'm not going to go down that road, but I would just say that it is important that we don't tear people down in our opposition to an idea.
Yes.
I like to say be hard on the issue, soft on people, to try to recognize their humanity, even though I know people make it so hard. I do. But we cannot become that which we're fighting against.
Yes.
And it's hard. You know, I've been Aunt Jemima'd, you know, I've been called a turd. You know, because of my dark complexion, you know, it's extra, extra hard when you are a black woman, but especially if you're a darker skinned black woman. So we just have to recognize that everybody has a journey, everybody has a story, and just because I'm in the public limelight, I got feelings like everybody else.
Amen.
And I have people who love me, and if you would disagree with me on an issue, that's fine, but don't try to tear me down, or what people try to do to your husband, what countless women probably endure. I think women in general are judged based on appearance more than men. They want to critique our hair and our dress. You know, what are we wearing? Are we wearing too many pantsuits? Wearing too many skirts? Did she not have on a suit? You know, I had women do that to me when I first entered city council. You know, I didn't have a suit jacket on, and you know, they criticize that. I know women of a certain generation, that is really what was expected. And you know, we are in a different time. I just believe that people should come as they are and be comfortable with who they are, because you can have folks dressed to the nines and be just as evil and wrong. I'd rather deal with people straight up, but especially women from all walks of life on either side of the political spectrum. I've seen that higher level of critique and criticism, and a lot of that come from sisters. Women, I mean sisters generally, not black women.
No,
but,
the microphone.
Yeah.
We don't want to go there.
That's why I salute you you know, I salute you for wearing your twists, you know, your locks, the way that you wear them. You know, I want y'all to think about this, that African Americans, especially women, our hair is political.
Yes.
There's something on Netflix called Napoli Ever After. If you have not watched that with
Yes,
Sanaa
I watched
Lathan, you should watch that. And Lynn Whitfield plays the mama, one of my favorite. But there's truth in that, to understand that our hair is always political. I just want you to think about this, that the hair that you were born with,
Yes.
from birth, somebody told you that hair wasn't good enough. So we've been straightening and creamy cracking and, you know, relaxing, creamy crack. You know, for a very long time, and it's just a beautiful thing. We went through a movement, you know, in the 60s and 70s, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, where we saw the Angela Davis afros and all those kinds of things. And then we went back. And now there's a reemergence of acceptance of the hair that we were born with, which is beautiful, whether you want to wear it kinky, curly, or bone straight.
That's right.
It's a beautiful thing, but black women in particular go through some extra drama over our hair.
Yes, yes.
So I salute you, my sister.
Thank you. I'll tell you a quick story. This is a true story. When I was on the county board, I went to the NACO conference, which is the National Association for County Officials.
Yeah.
And a sister came up to me. And at that time, that was the first maybe few years that I had my locks. And she said, "You are going to wear your hair like that?"
Right.
She did.
Yeah.
This is a true story.
Yeah.
I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You know, they kind of judge you if you have locks," is what she called them. And I said, "But it's hair, and it's mine." And she said, "You know, I thought about locking my hair too." It was almost like a secret. We was whispering and saying, "Girl, we're gonna lock our hair."
Lock our hair.
It was a secret. And from that day, I never forgot that interaction, because the politicizing of our features, our hair, how we speak. She's so, what's the word? She's so articulate.
Yeah.
They said it to me all the time.
Yeah.
Should I not be
Right.
articulate? I mean, I'm not sure what the expectation is.
Yes.
And so for those who are working with girls like Deborah McFarland over there, we got to work with girls to understand that what they receive from the Creator is theirs.
Come on now.
And you work with what the Creator gave you, and you make it what you want it to be, not what other people want it to be. I'm gonna move on to the next question. I can get in trouble.
I know.
too. I get in trouble, so I'm gonna move on.
We making good trouble though.
One of the questions that came was, and we're gonna do a round robin real quick on these.
Sure.
Who's been your greatest supporter, and what has been your greatest challenge?
So certainly my family, you know, my husband, my son, my dad, you know, is my number one supporter, even though I grew up, you know, my parents got married very young and they separated, so I grew up the majority of my life in a single parent household. And I didn't necessarily say this in my speech, but you know, how I got over, my soul looks back and wonders how I got over. My mother died at the young age of 42 years old with her dreams deferred. You know, Langston Hughes asked that question in his poem, what happens to a dream deferred? And you know, she died on the system of welfare. She didn't have any money in the bank. And that's why I fight so hard for the downtrodden and the poor, because but for a safety net, my siblings and I wouldn't have food to eat. You know, people make mistakes along the way, and I absolutely adore my father. They just got married young, and it just didn't work out. But to lose your mother at that young of an age, and I was 22, and all of my siblings and I'm the oldest of 7. Everybody's 2 years apart. So my baby sister at the time was 12, and I'm married. I got a son, and now all of a sudden I'm showing up for mama for 7 people, including my son. And so how I got over, my soul does look back and wonder how I got over, but I got over by the grace of an almighty God who sent people my way along the way to help lift the sister. So now I can have some fancy initials behind my name. Doc, Reverend Dr. Underwood, you know, and that kind of thing, and some fancy titles and stuff. But, you know, so my family, but certainly my husband, my son, I mean, they're extended people. There's too many people to name, and that is the beautiful thing. In terms of my greatest challenge, God, if I could just name 2 really quickly. One was in 2009, I supported an issue in my county. And I won't go bore you with all the details, but let's just say the power structure was not happy with my support of it on the Dem side and also in the African American community. And I remember getting a call from a reporter who called me up and he said, Senator, this was the day before Thanksgiving, so sister in the kitchen with flour all over, you know, making sweet potato pies and stuff, and Cornish hens, and I get this call from this reporter, and he said, Senator, you know, don't shoot the messenger, and you know. And he said, you know, I just got called into the newsroom that you are on the front page of the Call and Post newspaper, which is an African-American newspaper, top of the fold, as an Aunt Jemima. Yeah, that's how I felt. He said, I don't know if you're gonna wanna comment on it, but if you can make your way to get a paper, call me back if you feel up to it. So my husband went and got the paper, he was seeing red, he was ready to go hunt people down. But there I was, you know, because I fought for an issue that I believed in, and fast forward, the people in my county believed in it because the issue passed overwhelmingly. But in that moment, to be categorized as Aunt Jemima, some symbol that was created to vilify black women,
Yes.
to say that we were unattractive, unintelligent, and would sell out our people for white people. That's what the symbol of Aunt Jemima is. And that was, there I was under the words, Happy Thanksgiving, as a caricature of an Aunt Jemima. They didn't even match my do-rag to my scarf, you know. Because I'm fashionable as nothing, you know. You gotta make life, it was painful for me at the time. But, you know, the issue won. So that was a very hard moment for me. That was a milestone for me in my career to have that happen. But the people of Cuyahoga County, they lifted us. So that issue won overwhelmingly in my home county. And then, you know, my support for Senator Bernie Sanders, Sister Carol. People came for me. They still come for me. And I said in these words, and I'll never forget, I was at a Planned Parenthood event in my home county. I was on the program, and the state president of Planned Parenthood at that time called me up. She said, my phone has been ringing off the hook, and I got 50 calls up in here. She didn't say up in here, I'm saying up in here. But I got 50 calls, and I'm gonna do everything I can to protect you. So, you know, automatically, I'm like, protect me? From what? Right, hello, protect me. She was just letting me know that there might be some trouble at the event. In my home, in my county too, in my home turf. And you know when Cedric the Entertainer said black people live by the wish creed? I wish. Fill in the blank would.
Right.
But the fact that she had to call me to say that, and I'm thinking to myself, so I never forget, this woman got up in my face, not totally in my face because she's you know, shorter than I am, but all up in my space. And, you know, it's a cultural thing. Don't invade my space. You got to stay a little bit back. If you ain't trying to hug me and love on me, you know, I don't want you all up in my space. And she put her finger up at me, white woman, and she said, after all we've done for you,
Okay.
Sister,
I know she went back.
it took everything that I had. But I told her these words. I said, I ain't on the plantation no more. My ancestors sacrificed so much for me to be able to speak my truth.
Yes.
And to make my own decision. And so I'm serious about this. If we're gonna have choice in this country, it ain't just about reproductive choice. It's about choice for me to choose politically who I want to support.
Right.
Choice in jobs and choice, just choice.
Yes, yes.
But people want to try to overlay their political beliefs and decisions on somebody else and don't know how condescending they are. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're going to tell me about some Republicans. When the racism and bigotry that I have faced as a public servant, because I know what I'm dealing with when I had to fight on the Senate floor against my Republican sisters and brothers who didn't want to expand Medicaid, who tried and did suppress the ballot box. See, I know is what Brother Malcolm X said. He said the difference between the fox and the wolf when he was describing the South and the North. See, I'd rather deal with the wolf any day because, baby, I know I can see the wolf coming, but it's the fox that I can't deal with.
We deal. I have a testimony of that on the floor of the House, but I'm gonna leave it for another time.
Okay. We're gonna take the show on the road. Okay.
Sometimes we forget. We do forget. And I'm standing and I'm blocking bills that, let me tell you, I'm gonna just tell you.
The story.
Y'all give me a break.
Tell the story.
One of my colleagues in front of me, she got a bill that's going to shackle inmates when they go to the medical unit. So nobody reads the bill. I read all the bills, of course. Right. I read the bills. No, you do. And I said to my colleague sitting next to me, I said, oh no, this is a bad bill. That's my favorite sentence, y'all. Oh no, this is a bad bill. She said, what's wrong with it? I said, you know they're gonna, the protection of the nurses part, that's a good part.
Yes,
But the
that's right.
shackling the inmates for the protection, that's the bad part. Because we don't wanna shackle women who may be pregnant in prison
Yeah.
while they go to their medical appointments. So I turned to the sponsor, I said, I think you should hold this bill. We have some concerns. Now, she's on my side of the aisle. I give it a courtesy of say, you should hold this bill. You shouldn't call this bill. So I go and talk to the colleagues in the House
Sure.
on my side. I said, this is a bill that I would not support, and I'm asking the Black Caucus members to vote down no. She, the sponsor, says, I'm calling my bill. I said, well, you go right ahead. Of course, the bill didn't pass. The bill did not pass because as soon as I shared with them that they would be violating people's rights by shackling them, that is not how you bring safety to our nurses. You cannot shackle people to get medical treatment. And so the bill did not pass. You know, she a little salty with me still to this day.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's all right.
It's all right.
She'll be back because we always got something else we got to do.
Yeah, say that.
That brings me to what somebody's asking you here. As an avid reader, I'm curious about what books have inspired Sister Nina Turner and Representative Ammons. Also, are there any books you both recommend? This is from our brother Malcolm.
Good Lord.
Read the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yeah, say that. Unbought and Unbossed by Sister
Shirley
Shirley
Chisholm.
Chisholm. That is an absolute must read. You must read that book. And right now I'm reading like 10 books at once. Ain't getting through none of them quick.
Right.
Listen Liberal is one that really explains, you know, the liberal movement and the harm that movement has done to us in this country in a way that will absolutely blow your mind. And I'm also reading another book called White Rage. And it goes historically about the white backlash that has happened generation after generation in this country. So I would highly recommend those books. I'm reading many others, but I would read. And, you know, even though I know Dr. Seuss wasn't everything he was cracked up to be, if y'all study the history of Dr. Seuss, he was a racist. But the brother was gifted. And so one of the books that I love is Oh, the Places You Will Go. And even as an adult, you know, I used to give that book out for gifts for graduation. But pick up and read that book. Read children's books sometimes because it helps to open up your mind. But Oh, the Places You Will Go. It's really a testimony about how it doesn't matter where you come from. That really what is for you, and all the mighty places you will go. So all the places you will go, Unbought and Unbossed, White Rage, and Listen Liberal.
And I'll add Democracy in Chains.
Yes.
And give us the ballot.
Come on, say that.
I'll read this question. I am a board member of About Face, Veterans Against the War, founded in 2004. As veterans working to create awareness about the local and global impacts of the military-industrial complex and to create a more authentic narrative of the soldier and the veteran, what advice do you have for effectively sharing our stories and wisdom towards ending the military-industrial complex? And she says she's a superwoman. Amen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those folks got a whole bunch of money, almost more money than God. So part of it is doing what you are doing. I don't know where that person is, but, you know, bringing light to the situation because we have to make sure that people, sometimes, you know, Brother Stephen Covey, who's a world-renowned, you know, leadership expert, he has a quote that says that, seek first to understand and then to be understood. And we can't assume that everybody understands any given situation or thing that you're working on. So one is what you're doing right now. You formed an organization of like-minded people who care about that issue, bringing them together, and then being able to share your story over and over again across the spectrum. So that's one way. The other way is to question people who are running for office, particularly those people, not exclusively, but particularly people running on the congressional level, because the federal level, because we know that is the level that deals with the military budget in that way, and to find out where they stand and bring that to light for them too, and check out and support people like Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who is a veteran, who talks about this all the time. So find like-minded citizens, and then make sure though that you go up and lobby on the congressional level. If some of this money, the billions and billions of dollars that we give to the military, we have the strongest, best military in the world. We spend more money than any other industrialized nation, and we're still giving more money to the military industrial complex than we are to educating people. We don't take care of our veterans when they come back. There should be no such thing in the United States of America as a homeless veteran. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
Right.
So, you know, as Brother Tupac said, we got money for wars, but we can't feed the poor. You know, it's something wrong with that. So I applaud that organization. And then there are other like-minded organizations like that one. You know, there's an African proverb that says that many hands make for light work. Unite with other organizations that are fighting for the same issue that you are, and that'll help you spread the word. But hopefully we will get a Congress that will come to its senses, because both sides of the aisle, they're addicted to that. And might doesn't always make right. And of course we want our country to be safe. Who doesn't? Because Democrats get labeled with, you know, we want our country to be safe, absolutely, no doubt about that. But part of safety is also making sure we take care of the people.
Yes. We have lots of questions and little time. I know Michelle is time checking me.
Okay. Me too, I'll be shorter, Michelle.
I'm gonna do rapid fire.
Okay.
Please discuss the positive and perhaps negative, or this is a long question right here. The dangerous aspects of the Me Too movement on the Black Power movement. That's a whole lecture.
Ooh,
That's a lecture right there.
Can we say,
That's a lecture. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
can we
gonna
say-
go around. I'm gonna go around.
No, but I'm not gonna answer it. That's deep, and I've been thinking
That's a
about
very
that
deep question,
along
yeah.
with my sister Santita Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson's daughter. We're actually gonna do something on that. I'm glad that you raised that, because we are getting into some dangerous territory. I'm gonna leave. Ooh,
You gonna come back?
yeah, I'm gonna leave that right there.
Okay, I'm gonna read a couple more.
Yeah.
When they go low, we go high, or when they go low, kick them. Do we succeed? I'm just reading the quote. Do we succeed by meeting fire with fire or taking the higher road? That's that one.
That's what Brother Eric Holder said.
Right.
When they go little kick 'em. I mean, seriously, that's what the brother said now. You know, we gotta criticize folk. I mean, we don't agree. Some people might agree with that when they go little kick 'em. I don't necessarily agree with that. We have to be fierce though.
Yes.
But I take word from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he said that darkness can't do away with darkness, only light can.
Yes.
And hate can't drive out hate, only love can. And love is the fiercest of them all. See, love ain't weak, baby. Love is strong.
Yes.
And we got to understand that strength. So that doesn't mean that we don't stand up and be very clear, don't equivocate on what we believe in. But I do not believe that we can use the same tactics. And see, it's all about vantage point. And when they go low, we don't go high. You ask any politician in this business, they'll tell you. Sometimes when they go low, we go lower. And it makes us feel good to say that, but there is a certain mentality that we must have in our fierceness when we're fighting for justice and fairness and equality and all of those things that will lift people, give them the opportunity to create better lives for themselves. There's a certain way, but we must have a righteous indignation, I will say, against bad forces. Now, calling Mr. Trump what he is, I wouldn't say that is low. However, you know, if somebody not marching in the street with the tiki torch, or they haven't stood up in your face and outrightly declared that they are a bigot or a supremacist, I think the vast majority of our sisters and brothers that may gravitate that way need to see MLK, Mahatma Gandhi, you know, Mother Teresa kind of seek first to understand and to be understood. If somebody's just a flat out bigot in your face, then you got to deal with that. But to label everybody that may have voted for that man, you know, as a racist, he flat out lied to people.
He did.
He lied to them. And then on the other side, we didn't have the fierceness to say that people in this country are suffering and you've suffered for far too long. I can't guarantee you that I'll make it all right after I take the oath of office, but I will do everything in my power collectively with other people elected around this country to make it right. People are suffering. And Sister Carrie, you know, I've traveled not just urban, I've been in rural America. Both black rural, but white rural, to listen to people's stories of struggle. And what people don't like is for them to be called, I can't get you to see my side if I'm calling you stupid.
Right.
If I say to you voted, you stupid. You voted against your own self-interest. That is not gonna draw you to me. It's gonna make you put your back up against the wall. So we have to find a way, again, to be hard on the issues, soft on people. We've all have gone too far. That president has gone way too far. He's been doing this since he's been campaigning. So it's almost
Yes.
been 3 to 4 full years, even though he's only been in office for almost 2, of this kind of rhetoric that triggers people in a certain way. And so we got to get back to telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But we can do it in love. Love is the fiercest of them all. So I don't believe in kicking anybody, because I come from a people who were kids. I come from a people where water hoses and dogs were sick on them.
Yes.
So no, I don't advocate that way, but I'm sure enough.
You showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up.
Gonna be
I'm
fierce.
gonna give you these two.
Two.
I'm gonna give you 2 more
Quick.
real quick.
I'm the one that's taking a long time.
How do we bring together women of all different minority groups when we are so often pitted against each other? I'm gonna do the second one too.
Yeah.
As a young black girl striving to be all that the world and society says no to, what is your biggest piece of advice that you've got for us?
Oh man, I want to end on that one.
You end on, that's why I chose them.
Yeah, that one is bringing people together. So, you know, as I said, we all have stories, and we got to be willing to share our stories and be willing to hear from one another and to understand that the struggle is real. If you have the XX, chromosome, the struggle is real.
Yeah.
But there are some of us with that chromosome where the struggle is, again, some people got to jump mountains. So it's really coming together and understanding that struggle and just having understanding and love for one another in this fight. Openness. And for people not to get offended when somebody is telling you their truth. So that's one way. Be genuine. Hell, that's, you just talked about yours. Just be genuine with one another. The young sister that asked this, as a young black girl striving to be all that the world and society says no to. Man, this question right here is just bringing tears to my eyes a little bit. I'm gonna try to hold it back because vanity says don't let your mascara run. But my heart says I'm feeling that. Just know, to be young, black, and gifted, as somebody put it, those are not my words. And that this world will do everything to tear you down. But you come from a people whose very existence is regal. Even though in this country they start us off in the shackles and the chains. But the shackles and the chains, though, that our ancestors had to overcome so that you were able to be in this room with people who don't look like you, to be able to ask this question. You come from a people who were dehumanized and ridiculed and raped and branded and treated less than second-class citizens. They were chattel. You come from a people, some who jumped ships, some who threw their babies over the ship, others who lived to endure, so that a young black girl like you could ask the question, what happens to me when the world says no? I want you to know, by the power of your ancestors, they said yes. And that the blood that courses through your veins is the blood of greatness. And even when you are called and even when you are chosen, you're gonna still go through some stuff. But your testimony will shine through. That to be young, black, and gifted is a beautiful thing. Yeah. So do you, I'm sure Sister Carol can share stories. I mean, we got fancy titles, took oaths of offices, had degrees, and that doesn't stop people from hating. Haters gonna hate.
That's right.
But you do you. Meditate if you believe in that. If you are a young woman, if you are a believer, whatever lifts you, do that. But no, you're gonna go through some stuff. But baby, diamonds come through the fire. Diamonds come through the fire. But that, this should be a message to everybody in this room. That a young sister asked the question when the world says no. No child should have to be born into the world thinking that the world is already from their birth said no. And that is the existence of far too many people who, in the words of Zero Neale Hurston's, skin has been kissed by the sun. But your ancestors, baby, they said yes. And that is why you are here today. So for their memory, for their spirit, for their essence, you live out your greatest greatness. As much as people are going to come against you, there are going to be people who are for you, who will lift you, who will support you.
That's right.
Just know that. Do you is my advice.
We don't want to leave, we don't want to end, but we must.
Yes, I gotta go back and pack.
In my last seconds with Sister Nina Turner on this stage, on behalf of our community, we wanted to also honor and recognize your great service. And I had this specially made for you, so you will never forget us in Urbana-Champaign.
You are unforgettable.
You are distinguished in our book as a woman making waves in our nation, and we are so honored just to know you. And thank you for sharing so much of yourself with us this afternoon. Please, please give it up for Senator Nina Turner. Just for 1 second, if you would just hold your seat for 1 second, I'm gonna let us all go to knock on doors.
Yes.
Can I get an amen? I'm gonna let y'all all go and knock on doors.
Kinda quiet.
Help elect
Right.
our people. In this brochure, there's a back page here. It says a volunteer sign-up form. We wanted to make sure this was practical. We need you to volunteer. If you are unable to walk, you can call on the phone. If you're not able to do phones and you prefer walking, you can do that too. You can schedule yourself to take 5 people to vote. But make sure that you fill this out if you live here among us and do something to help us elect our women in this room, our first African American clerk. Do something for someone else this election cycle. Do not leave without filling the blank in on your brochure and giving it to my staff as we exit. But don't run so fast. I want to acknowledge all of those who've helped to make this a reality. It is not easy to do things like this. Certainly to get this beautiful hall that was donated to us from the laborers. Local 703, we want to give it up for the laborers, Local 703, who gave us this hall and gave us all of the food. Amen. Oh, I can't see, I'm visually impaired, but I hope Rusty is in this space. And if you are, stand up, Rusty, because I can't see you. We are so honored to have them as a partner, working for working men and women in our community and across Central Illinois and this state. The laborers are a great supporter of Carol Ammons and our state rep and so many other Democratic candidates. We appreciate all that you've done for us this morning, and I do hope that you have been blessed by something that was said from our sister Nina Turner. I'm going to go through and read the rest of our sponsors. Certainly, did you all like the decoration of the stage? Miss Skandrika Lee, where are you? Skandrika, all the way in the back, waving, is my sister Skandrika, who set up the decorations of this hall and the tables for you when you came in, and all of the interns that helped her put this together. They're all over in the back room, right, back table back there. And Michelle, who always hides, Michelle Jett, is somewhere. Oh, where? Of course, she's outside working, talking to somebody else. But Michelle is my soon-to-leave chief of staff. Would you all ask her to come inside?
Michelle.
Like in the neighborhood, right? While we get Michelle, AFL-CIO of Champaign County, AFL-CIO of Illinois, AFSCME Council 31, Ameren, Associated Firefighters of Illinois, AT&T, Chicagoland Operators, ComEd, Cook County College Teachers Union, Cornerstone Government Group, East Central Illinois Building and Construction Trade Council, Illinois Credit Union Association, Illinois Education Association, Illinois Federation of Teachers, Illinois State Medical Society, Illinois Trial Lawyers, Laborers Midwest Region, we just acknowledged, Lyona Chicago Laborers District Council, NICOR and People's Gas, Planned Parenthood of Illinois, SEIU Healthcare Illinois, Indiana, the Turner Group,
who is one of my colleagues, Art Turner Jr., is in the house with me, and his father also served, and he supports me every single year. All of these sponsors have helped us in one way or another to bring this event to you today. And all of our interns. Michelle, would you please come up to this stage? I know she don't. Y'all clap for Michelle, because she does not like to be in the front of anything, but she does so much work. Michelle is going to be going on and leaving me, guys. Yes, oh, say it louder for her, please. Yes, Michelle has to move on with her life. I cannot keep her here. And she's moving to Chicago with her new family. But she'll still be working with us on certain things like this, but she won't be our day-to-day contact in the district office. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge the amount of, I'm about to cry. We have been through so much together. She has literally dressed me. She has picked up my children. She has helped my husband with all of the stuff. It's hard to help Aaron do a lot of stuff. She has been there for just every single thing that we've done, from the campaign all the way to this moment. She is still serving the people of the 103rd District. And we are so honored to have her as a long-term, and she'll never leave us. But we do want to wish her well as she goes on to the next phase in her own life. And what she will be doing, she will be serving in some capacity in the city of Chicago, and we will still be together. But we will miss you deeply in our everyday affairs, making sure all of this works, making sure our interns are taken care of. We are just definitely indebted to you. And I just wanted to tell you I love you in front of all of these people. And we will certainly miss your presence on a daily basis. What Nina said about you may not be my skin color, but you're definitely my kind. Michelle is my kind. And we are just equally yoked together, and we will never part. And I appreciate just everything that she's done for all of these people in this room. Whether you know it or not, she has been a great servant to the people of the 103rd District. So thank you so much, Michelle.
I am going to say something. If you know anyone that's super organized, can multitask, and likes politics, they should apply for this job,
Yes.
Particularly if they are a woman of color, because that would be great to move this position over to a woman of color. So if you know anyone, please tell them to apply.
And see, she's still trying to help us get it together. We thank you, Michelle, for all that you have done, and you will continue to be a part of our family wherever you go. I hope I've done all of your notes. You've told me to do everything on this sheet of paper, and I did do that. Fill out your back of your program. She wants that program. She ain't gonna let you leave without it.
Ink pens are not working.
Ink pens are, of the glossy, okay, well, we got index cards, fill out an index card. We just want you to work with us. We got index cards. Fill out your back of your thing on the index card. We'll collect them. In closing, I do want to thank Senator Nina Turner for literally changing her direction in her tour, her program with Senator Bernie Sanders, and coming to see us here this morning. We're honored for her presence here in Champaign-Urbana. Thank you so much, Senator Turner. To Elizabeth Hess. Elizabeth, where are you? I cannot see Elizabeth Hess, who has just jumped in. She's also outside working. She has jumped in to help us with this event program planning. We thank you, Elizabeth. Again, to Skondrika, my family who's traveled here, thank you so much for helping us do this. To Carlton Brewitt, who could not be here, Carlton does a lot of work. He just volunteers all the time for us. We appreciate him, and certainly to my friends here, to Cope Constance, who's always been in the Ammons family. Again, we'll pick up our children. We'll make sure they have transportation. Anything we need. If Carol is sick, Cope is coming. We just really appreciate you, Cope Constance, for everything that you have done for our family. It is our honor to have you as part of our family. To all of my interns who assist in any way that I ask them at the University of Illinois, we thank you. And to my mother, Valerie Ammons, who is somewhere, she left out of here, we are just so thankful. She is one of those mothers, what do you want me to do? What time you want me to be here? I'll jump out of here. I'm gonna run up here and get it. She just does everything we need. She set up this whole setting for us to have our conversation, and we thank her for that. And to my husband, the love of my life, I'm like, Nina, man, I can tell lots of stories about this great gentleman. But the one I'll share most is that he is a wonderful father. And these children in my home have been blessed to just have you walk close to them and across their path. They are blessed because of you. Aaron Ammons, our next county clerk. We appreciate you. Thank you all so much for this morning. Thank you for having breakfast with us. And we look forward to 2019. I'm telling you guys today that I am going to get Miss Michelle Obama up in here. You hear that? You heard it from me. I'm going to get her up in Champaign-Urbana to have breakfast with us. Patricia Rosario, thank you so much for taking photos for us. And where's Brian? And her husband, Brian, who has been amazing supporters of Aaron and Carol for a very, very long time. Thank you all so much. Our heart goes out. I hope you have a great canvas this afternoon, everybody. And God bless you.